Reports are stating that Spurs and Sporting have met in the last 24 hours to discuss a possible deal for Pedro Porro, and more talks will take place later this week. Bentancur is back for the Premier League clash at Manchester City on Thursday. Reports are stating that Spurs are currently talking to Leandro Trossard about a possible January move. Kulusevski has come out and said that him and his teammates need to pick themselves up and go again after the North London derby defeat on Sunday. And Antonio Conte has urged the board to explain the strategy and club vision. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Let's start by talking about a couple of Premier League fixtures that are going to take place in the next couple of days. On Wednesday evening, Crystal Palace will face Manchester United at Selhurst Park. And then on Thursday evening, we will be travelling away to the champions Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium, 8 p.m. kickoff. Now, going into this game on Thursday evening against Manchester City, we are 5th in the Premier League. We have now played 19. We have 33 points. We are 5 points adrift of the top 4. Manchester City are sitting in 2nd. They have 39 points from 18 games. They are 8 points away from league leaders Arsenal. On Tuesday, Antonio Conte confirmed in his press conference that midfielder Rodrigo Bentancur will be back for Thursday's game against Manchester City. He said, like I said after the game against Arsenal, we have Bentancur training with us. He is available and could be available for the game against City. Antonio Conte also added, we are talking about an important player for us. I think also with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, they create a good couple of midfielders. Ahead of the Manchester City game on Thursday, the Evening Standard have just published a predicted lineup, and this is how they think Antonio Conte will line up against the champions. Lloris in goal, Romero, Dyer and Davis at the back. The wing-backs, Doherty and Perisic. In midfield, Bentancur and Højbjerg, and then the forward three of Kulusevski, Kane and Son. A report has just been published by the Daily Express, and they are stating that Tottenham are in talks with Leandro Trossard, but Arsenal also a possibility for Brighton ace. Tottenham and Arsenal are both linked with Brighton star Leandro Trossard. It then goes on to say that Tottenham are speaking to Trossard regarding a possible January transfer, but Arsenal will remain a potential option for the Brighton winger before the end of the month. Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has stated that Spurs are currently favourites for Trossard's signature. He said Tottenham are currently reviewing the situation with the player. He's a very good player and he's also available in the market now. So Tottenham are in talks with Trossard, but at the moment the talks are not very advanced. Fabrizio Romano also added that Arsenal could be interested after the situation with Mudryk, and I think in the next few days will be crucial for Arsenal, and they have to decide what they want to do now. So Arsenal is a possibility for Trossard, but I think Tottenham are more likely to sign him. Sky Sports have just reported that Brighton will only sell Trossard if valuation is met, and Spurs are monitoring the situation. Brighton's Leandro Trossard wants to leave the club in the January transfer window. Tottenham are among the clubs interested in the Belgian winger, but Brighton will only sell if the valuation is met. Spurs are also keen on Brentford's David Raya, but there are no plans to change Hugo Lloris at this present time. Tottenham Hotspur star Dejan Kulusevski has come out and said that him and his teammates need to pick themselves up after the North London derby defeat at home against Arsenal on Sunday. He said, we cannot go home and feel sad. We have another good game soon and we just have to recover good. It's very hard for everybody, but if you don't start the games better, we're not going to win, so we have to stop doing that. We're trying. Nobody wants to concede first, but everybody is trying. To find a solution is a little bit harder. Now, an update from Fabrizio Romano on the Pedro Porro situation. He has stated discussions took place between Spurs and Sporting for Pedro Porro in the last 24 hours, and it will continue later this week. Tottenham will insist. Porro dreams of Premier League move, but it's all on the clubs now, as expected. In another update from Fabrizio Romano, he does state that Sporting are insisting on the €45 million release clause. New round of talks will take place soon. And lastly, on Tuesday afternoon, Antonio Conte had his press conference at Hotspur way ahead of our Premier League clash away at the Etihad Stadium against Manchester City on Thursday. This is what he had to say. Some interesting comments again.
What I can tell is only one thing, that we are working really hard and every day for this club. Then if there is criticism and we have to accept, it's difficult to understand why the criticism, because I think that we are doing what we have to do in our possibility, but we have to accept. But my answer is always the same. I put everything, and the players do the same for this club and for the fans. That I think much more than this is very, very difficult to do for me. But in England, I think there is a bad habit that there is only the coach to speak and to explain. Also, I never seen the club or sporting director to come here and to explain the strategy, the vision of the club. Because otherwise, we put every time our face. There is only one face to explain other situation that I think maybe is better also the club to come here to explain.
Now, my thoughts on these stories in this episode. Wow, where do I start? Those comments from Antonio Conte. I tell you what, I can just see this going one way, and I don't think this is going to end in a positive way either. The more Antonio Conte opens his mouth at the moment, things are going to happen. I don't think that Antonio Conte is going to be backed in this January transfer window as he wants. I personally cannot see Antonio Conte being our manager next season. That is my honest opinion. I hope I'm wrong, because in my view, and I've said this many, many times, you don't bring in a world-class manager and expect him to produce miracles again. His words, it was a miracle that Spurs finished in the top 4 last season, and we need another miracle again. We don't need a miracle. We just need him to be backed in the right way, and we need the players to come in that he wants. And we need improvements in this starting 11 and indeed the squad. We need a right wing back, that is without any question or doubt. We want to buy Pedro Porro. We're clearly interested in the player, and we are trying to pay for the player in instalments, and we are dragging this deal out. If this player is wanted by Antonio Conte and the club, and it's an important player in our system that we play week in, week out, that Antonio Conte is not going to change, then go and pay the money that Sporting are asking. If we're confident in the player, Conte wants the player, the club wants the player, and the player wants to come, just get the deal done. Spurs apparently are also in talks with Trossard. I think he's a decent player. He's got Premier League experience. I don't think he's going to make a dramatic impact if he did come into Spurs. I think he's a good squad player. I can't see how he's going to get into the starting 11, if I'm completely honest. It's great that Bentancur is back for the Manchester City game. Hugely excited about seeing him back. He gives the team a lot. He really does. We miss him so much when Bentancur is not in the team, being one of our standout performers this season. So, of course, when you take such an important player out of the team, it is very, very noticeable. Antonio Conte coming out, urging the board to explain strategy and club vision. I've said this so often. You know, we were getting these updates from Daniel Levy and in particular Fabio Prasci. We haven't had one of these updates in a very, very long time. We all are worried about the future of our club right now, and we deserve as fans to know exactly what the vision is. We at the moment don't know whether Antonio Conte is going to be our manager for sure. We don't know whether he's leaving at the end of the 30th of June or he's going to remain. Reading between the lines and every single time he has a press conference now, I cannot see Antonio Conte staying beyond the 30th of June. Of course, we'll know a lot more about that in a couple of weeks at the end of the January transfer window. I know Spurs have said that they're going to be putting a statement out in February and also producing the financial results as well. And apparently Fabio Prasci will be putting out a statement. That will be interesting. But I think all of us deserve to know now what the strategy is, what the club vision is, because there is so much uncertainty at the moment. And this should not be at a club like Spurs. We should be a very organised club. And when you look back, it took us 72 days to appoint a new manager. And of course, we went to Nuno Espirito Santo, which, was a bad decision. It was a bad decision. And when you go back to having a look at some of the other decisions, I didn't like when Pochettino was sacked. That's me personally. I know some fans thought it was the right decision. For me personally, it wasn't the right decision. He took us to a Champions League final, didn't spend a penny in 518 days. I thought that he deserved enough credit in the bank to keep his job and be backed further. That wasn't the case. Of course, we went to Jose Mourinho. He was sacked 6 days before a cup final. Another decision that I do not agree with. I think that we had more of a chance of winning that cup final with Jose Mourinho instead of Ryan Mason. That's no disrespect to Ryan Mason. Jose Mourinho's won trophies everywhere he's gone, but he was sacked 6 days before a cup final. Nuno Espirito Santo, that was a poor decision. I just hope that Spurs get this decision right. I really do, and I hope I'm wrong here in having the feeling that this is all going wrong again. And I read a report from the Daily Mail earlier today, and it said Spurs just are going round in circles. I do not like this feeling as a fan right now. I want the club to get this right. They've got to get this right. If you're bringing in a manager like Antonio Conte, trust him, back him, and give him what he needs for us to be successful. I want to see trophies. I want to see success. If we have any chance of any success, it is under Antonio Conte. Please, Tottenham Hotspur, do not get this wrong this time. We got it wrong with Poch. We got it wrong with Jose. We got it wrong even appointing Nuno. Please do not get it wrong with Antonio Conte. This has to work, and I really want it to work. Antonio Conte at the moment looks extremely frustrated, which I don't like seeing whatsoever. It's going to be interesting. Of course, we've got a few very, very hard games coming up as well. Manchester City on Thursday, Fulham the following Monday, both away games. It's going to be very, very tough, but Spurs need to give absolutely everything. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your week. Come on, you Spurs.